Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the final word. Chelsea 2, Everton 0. We have to talk about a defeat for the first time in a few weeks. It's always hard, but it was what it was. I've made my peace with it because I just thought last night it felt like a game too far against a very good Chelsea side, a very good squad, a good team. And when you looked at them compared to us, you could, at our best, it would be a difficult game. But last night, with all the injuries to the team, not only the team, the squad, the bench, it was always going to be a difficult ask.
Yeah, they're a good side, good manager, good players. The bench, was just saying before, the bench would do well in the Premier League on its own. And Everton, got 5-6 injuries. It's a lot to cope with, and it was a game too far. But the first away game we've lost since November, the 3rd or something. So, when did we ever talk about that? When have we gone 4 months or so, 5 months without losing an away game? And this was always going to be a real big test. But I think I said in the preview, it was that this game won't determine our season, whether we won it or lost it. And they're further along, aren't they? They've just got better players than we have. It's as simple as that. They're closer to being the finished article than what we are, put it that way. And last night they proved that. The movement was too good. They're too mobile for us. And we found it difficult.
Yeah, they're miles closer to being the finished product, aren't they? You only have to look at the way the team's played. And, Carlo Ancelotti said it after the game himself. He said, you can't be open in games like this. Carlo Ancelotti understands the limitations of our team. There's been away games where we go and sit in, but there's a tactical way that we've gone and won the game, and it's worked well. There's other games like Thursday where it's just a bit of a slog, but last night it never felt like we really had a plan to what we were going to do. Of course, it was going to be sitting in, be tight, try and do that. Hope that the front two produce something maybe off a set piece, but it never felt like it was ever going to happen. Chelsea had total control of the game. Don't get me wrong. You come out like, say, the first half, and you look at it and go, well, actually, they haven't done much, because they hadn't done loads, the haters. And I appreciate that. And people were saying to me, last night about it, saying, well, we've done what we've done in most games there. I appreciate that. But it never felt like to me we had a way of grabbing a goal. That's not, I'm not sitting going, I'm massively disappointed by that. I just think sometimes you have to face reality and look at a team and go, they're better than us, and we have to be on it to beat them. And last night we weren't on it. We didn't have a team that was on it. We had a team that, certainly the back four, which is good, playing a lot of games together, but some of them looked jaded. Midfield, we had no real creativity. The front two then are feeding off scraps, but also didn't really do anything themselves either. So, all in all, it was just one of those nights where you've got to hold your hand up and go, nah, they're just, like you just said, they're a lot further down the line. And to me, that's where Everton have got to get to. Everton have got to get to a position where, maybe not against teams like Chelsea yet, but I think we've got to get into a position where a lot more games, a lot more times we control the game of football that we win. Do you know what I mean? I look back at West Brom. There's bits in West Brom that we control, but you want to almost put your hand on their head and go and just knock it round. And that's where we've got to get to. And I think that's where Chelsea were last night. They had a control over the game where it felt inevitable that something would come.
They were in total control. Again, with any Premier League game, though, I'm thinking of Luca Dean free kick on the edge of the box. Yeah. That goes in at 0-0. You've got something to cling on to. Then it changes the dynamic of the game. It didn't.
But isn't that the issue? Isn't that what we are?
We're not. I said in my match reaction after the game, we're top of the chances taken
Yeah.
So we're the most efficient team in the Premier League. We're 16th on chances created.
Yeah.
So at the moment, we're not like them because we don't cut through teams. So we do always rely on maybe it's a corner or a free kick or a moment in the game. And that's okay, but there will be games like against teams like that. You have to have more. You have to
take the chances.
No, but you do, but you also have to be able to create.
Yeah.
And we're struggling to create open play chances against West Bromwich Albion and Southampton. Then when you're playing against a team that are far superior in quality of player and movement and mobility, it becomes more difficult. I actually thought the game plan worked reasonably well for the opening half an hour. I thought they'd had a couple of shots, hadn't they, really, that have gone wide at the post, didn't really had anything. Like you say, we had the opportunity with the free kick. If he gets that on target, who knows? I think Mendy would give it up, so if it cleared the wall, it might have well gone in. But they were always, certainly in the second half, they cut us open a little bit more. But again, you sit there, you're always disappointed when I ever watch Everton lose football matches, and I don't ever want to concede that Everton aren't good enough to beat a team. And this year's proven that anyone can beat anyone, so it was never a foregone conclusion. But to win that game, we had to, in my opinion, we had to get the first goal and then dig in and do what we've done. But you're right, we did. A couple of players just didn't look sharp last night, and I think we did miss the Corey's energy. I know I've seen some people call him a liability for giving the ball away and stuff. We've got no one who does what he does. He eats the midfield up a lot of the time with his pace and his movements, and players who we had in there simply don't have that.
Yeah.
And when you're playing against a team who is very mobile like they are, they just move the ball quick. And there looks like a bit of a gulf because they do move so quickly that you forever running backwards towards the goal.
They came out straight away and they had the high press, didn't they? And straight away it put us under pressure. Players getting the ball caught underneath them and not being able to find an out ball and no one shown for an out ball. And then if they did get an out ball, someone was on top of them straight away. The amount of times Mason Holgate had pressure on him and then he'd get into Wobie and Wobie had pressure on him straight away. We just never really... We don't have players who are quick enough to just get it in and pop it off. Everyone wants that extra touch.
And we don't have players who are quick enough to go and press.
No. Well, we don't press. We're not a very good pressing side, but we don't have enough quality where it's fired into someone and that it's fired out and then it moves. And you watch teams like Chelsea and you watch teams like obviously like City, where it is like that. It's touch. It's quick. And then like you just said, you don't have the other side of it where, seeing United against City on Sunday, where it's soon as City player, United player on them, bam, 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 bam. We don't really have either of that thing. So, and that's where the Corey is a big miss. Listen, he has looked a little bit, not offy, but just his passing's been a little bit
sloppy.
Recently, but it still can't make up for the other, the other thing that he does. So, with Sigurdsson in there, with Gomez in there, with also with Allen, he hasn't been back he's only been back a game and a half. So it's, and then when your creativity supposed to be a Wobie, then you're left with very little. I think, when you got a Wobie on one side and Dean on the other side, and you're asking Dean to get all the way up the pitch when he's got like a wing back against them, and it was just bound to fail, really.
It was a tough night.
Yeah.
It was a tough night, and it shows you where we've got to get to. It shows, I think what's good about games like that last night is it's very clear what we have to do in the summer. Very, very clear. There can't be any muddled thinking. The recruitment has got to be right this summer again. It was very good last summer. It's kicked us on a hell of a lot this summer, this season. Now can we do it again? Can we follow it up and get some legs and energy into that team as well with that bit of quality? And if we do again, then next season we'll have a good season. But we're still right in it. It was they were better than us last night. They deserved the win. And you have to take it on the chin and go, right. But you're right, we've got to get to the stage where when we're playing your Burnleys and your Crystal Palaces and teams like that, we're the team that's in total control and we win it 2 or 3-0 and it's comfortable. We're not there yet because we're still not creative enough. And we've got players in who are creative, so they've got to step up a little bit as well. It's all very well having a system, but your creative players have got to perform. Alex Iwobi hasn't performed of late. He really hasn't.
No.
And he can, moan about positions and look forward to going to play for Nigeria in his right position. But when you're in a team, you have to do a job for the team. But it still shouldn't take away what you're good at. And he was on the ball enough in both West Brom and last night. He didn't do anything.
Well, I mean, the first goal, as you mentioned, it huffed and puffed a little bit, but we dealt with it like we often do. But the goal's really disappointing, isn't it? The first goal, because I mean, not only does it take a deflection and go in, but the build-up play to it. Holgate and Iwobi, and Iwobi not tracking back and doing the basic things you ask as a team player. If someone runs off you, you've got to go and follow them and close the space down, because that's what it is as well, isn't it? It's everyone in it together. It's every player doing that little job and a half to stop the opposition finding those spaces, because good teams can cut you apart, but if you allow them to cut you apart because you switch off and you're being lazy, well, even just switching off.
It's just, you've worked on a game plan, haven't you? And so you do have to sacrifice what you want to do sometimes to get the results. And Everton will have worked on a game plan against Chelsea's wing backs, and seeing it last night, and I know a couple of people blamed Holgate for the goal, but I've watched it about 25 times now, and we're going to have a look at it.
I think one thing I would say just on Holgate is, I think it's easy to blame someone when it doesn't look like he's busting a gut to get back in.
I know, but
that's just what I'm saying.
But when you actually watch it, go on, put it. Well, we've got the three stills here. So in the first still here, we've got the Holgate comes, zoom up, raise it in to Hudson-Odoi, and Holgate comes touch tight to Hudson-Odoi. So these circled there, and in the bottom of the pitch, Iwobi's man is Alonso. So Alonso's already on the run, as you can see, but Iwobi has to track him, because that's his job, to track him. Holgate's done the right thing. He's come out and closed Odoi out. Odoi turns out with his foot and ends up where Alonso is. The next one that we're going to see there on screen is Odoi's moved out, but Iwobi, instead of running with Alonso and cutting him off, has faced Odoi up. So Holgate's in the middle of nowhere now, because he's expecting Iwobi to go with Alonso. So what we have here as well, we've got Kai Havertz circled in the middle where Michael Keane's marking him. But because Alonso's now got to run into the penalty area, Michael Keane has to come across to cut that off, because if he just stays with Havertz, Alonso's clean through on goal. And in the third one, which is when he's advanced into the box, Holgate's trying to get back in there, Keane's come to cut the corridor, and Havertz is on his own. And all of a sudden, Ben Godfrey's got Werner and Havertz, and we know that the ball's cut back behind Keane. Havertz hits it. I think Pickford's saving it anyway, and it hits Godfrey and ends up in the other corner of the net. And, and from there, it's 1-0, and it's just those moments where, as if Iwobi just sees Alonso and knows it's his man, he's stuck with him all night. So why in that instance is he going, I'm letting him run? Mason Holgate's here. Holgate's come out to Odoi. Odoi's turned out, and Holgate's spinning to get back in. He can't then go, oh, that's my man as well. Where if Iwobi just tracks him enough and holds him up, maybe that pass isn't on for Hudson-Odoi then, because he can see Iwobi there. Maybe he turns back out and it allows Holgate to get back in. And it's just that moment where you switch off, Alonso's in the space, and the pass is taking 3 Everton players out. Keane's had to come out, Kai Havertz has got to tap in. Whereas, who knows, if Iwobi goes with Alonso and Alonso still receives the ball, Keane can cut Havertz off, we clear it, and it's don't let them in again. You're 1-0 down.
You've got to go with the danger, haven't you? In times like that. I mean, what else is? Where's the danger? What if he doesn't go? If he goes with them, where's the danger?
Well, there isn't. But what he's done is he's done that thing of he's ran and he's gone, well, I'll stay out on the right hand side because that's where I am. But he should be looking to see where Holgate is, thinking he ain't making that space. I've got to go. And if I go, I then give Hudson-Odoi a decision to make. Can he bend it round me? If he bends it round me still and he's in, okay. But he doesn't. He comes out, so there's a huge gap, and the ball's on. You could see it. You could see when Hudson-Odoi, it's like, oh my God, they're in. One ball, and he's in the box. It didn't say anyone could have made the pass. It wasn't an unbelievable ball. And we'd made that decision. And it's those little moments in the game where if he runs with him, we get away with that. and it's like, right, we're still in the game here. We're 1-0 down, and it's difficult. Then you're playing against the good side with good movement, good mobility. You're right. We got, Everton stayed in the game. We'd had a couple of moments where we could have thrown crosses in, and we didn't. We chose not to. This is all in the first half. We had one where Richarlison plays a great ball to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He doesn't make the run. If he just runs in behind Christensen, he's in with the keeper. He disguises it brilliantly. Dom stands there, and you can see Richie as if to say, "Why haven't you made that run? You're in." We had the cross come in, and the keeper spills it and ends up with Andre Gomez having a shot, which Mendy saves. So at half time, you're 1-0 down, you're thinking, all right, we haven't been great, but we've stuck in there, and we're behind with the deflection. Can we, a little bit of the rub of the green second half, maybe nick a point here? And that's how
Charlison had a little one-on-one as well, where he should have done a lot better.
When he just did it against,
should have done a lot better.
Yeah, he does that.
He should have almost, for me, he should have stood up, tried to stand them up, and then come inside them.
Yeah.
But
tried to do it
does that thing where he does it quick, and
and it hit Christensen's heels and went away. And that was a good, after Sigurdsson released him, hadn't he? When you get to like you say, half time, but I was thinking, all right, well, this is a tough game, but we're in it, and we've shown that we can score goals off a set play or whatever. And we'd had a half chance with Michael Keane, which Stingy just got a toe in. I think it was Christensen again, where it broke around in the box off a corner. Keane threw his foot back like he was going to lash it in, and he nicked it away. So I was, at half time, I was thinking, we haven't been great, but we're still in this game. Second half, they did get a bit more control, and I think that'll be the thing that'll disappoint the manager. That
we looked leggy, didn't we? We looked tired. We looked a lot of players looked like the weak games that took the toll on them.
The third game in 7 days, wasn't it? So,
and I know I get a lot of people saying, you shouldn't be using an excuse, but Chelsea changed 5 players for a reason. They changed 5 players so they would be fresh. We haven't got that option. We haven't even got that option off the bench. No. Do you know what I mean? We got a couple of players on the bench, and players just. If you are looking at situations, you look at that and think, well, they've got half a team that is fresher than most of our players, and I think that has to be a big difference. And I think that's why second half they got more on top, obviously, and they started to sit back a little bit and go, well, we can hit these on the counter attack now.
And there's pace as well.
But with us never ever really threatening them either.
We had a good opportunity with the Richarlison at 1-0, and for some reason he let it run right the way across his body. When we've seen him lash them back, well, it was almost a similar position to Anfield and Spurs at home, where he's hitting it back across the keeper, and he let it run too far and ended up couldn't get his foot round it, and he skews it wide.
Off balance.
And that was a half chance, and you think if he can hit the target there, and then a couple of minutes later they get a penalty.
Well, we'd had the scare. Kai Havertz
had a game of basketball.
I'd basically punched it down, and I don't know why it needed looking at, but
I was amazed. He looked at it 5. You could see the first thing. It was he cradled the ball into his path. And it was like, why is he still looking at it? And Mason Mount, apparently on the bench, was laughing as if to say, why is he still looking at it?
Peter Walton thought it wasn't out in ball. And then, as you mentioned there, they got the penalty. Straight ball, foot race, Kai Havertz between Jordan Pickford and Jordan Pickford had a great game. He really did. But I don't think...
It was a mistake.
I don't think he needs to come and try and get this. But don't get me wrong, I've seen him come out and get these and win them. But Havertz was too fast for him. And
I just wondered if he had to come out, though.
No,
if he could have just narrowed the angle.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
We had a defender chasing him as well.
What I was going to say is that I thought him having such a good game is that with Havertz being in that position, I'd have been very confident if Pickford had created an angle, just come off his line a little bit and said, beat me. And if the lad had beat him, then fair dues. But I don't think it was an erratic moment. I just thought
he could get there, didn't he?
It was one of those things where goalkeepers seem to think they're quicker than centre forwards.
We felt the game at Goodison Mendy did with Calvert-Lewin, didn't he? He thought he was quicker than Dom, and we got the penalty. So.
That's it. They think they're faster than centre forwards, and then they forget that centre forwards are not only faster, but they're cleverer.
And any touch, it's a penalty. Isn't it? If you get it wrong, it's a penalty. I just wondered what if he, because where it wasn't looking at the defenders around him, if he really needed to come and make it, if he could have just come and narrowed it and gone, right, can you beat me? And then it might have. But listen, he made a split. If he'd have taken it, we'd have all gone great goalkeeping, wouldn't we? Yeah. He got it wrong.
Yeah, no. And I don't, listen, I'm not going to, to me, that's a goalkeeping mistake. That doesn't make any sense. It's one of those things where it's just part of the goalkeeper's list, isn't it? It's not like
it's an error. End off. He's made an error.
No, but what I mean is, it's one of those things where the keeper has got to make a decision. It's not one of those things where someone's had a shot and it's gone through his hands and it's gone in. No. It's one of those things where goalkeepers often do that. You see a lot of goalkeepers, see the best goalkeepers doing that.
They've all done it this season. Seen it from every keeper this season. I've made an error of judgment. You think you can get there and there, like you said.
He had a great game. But he made some huge saves before that. He made some huge saves after that.
Made two great saves within 5 seconds of each other from Werner and Kanté, which would have meant they'd have gone 3-0.
Have we got Pickford's numbers?
We certainly have. There we go.
Saves 8, saves in the box 6, punches 1. I mean, you didn't have to put penalties.
No, I mean,
you're stating the obvious there, aren't you?
Massive.
Touches 56, accurate passes 27, long balls 9, pass accuracy 67. I mean, whether that's worth anything, I don't know. But no,
that's very good from a goalkeeper, passing accuracy.
He made some great saves, and I suppose in a way he kept it from looking like a really, really bad night, because they did have a lot of good opportunities, and as you said there, he made a couple in quick succession, and I mean, what you don't want is you don't want to go down there and suddenly the score becomes 4 or whatever, and you're looking at going.
You see, but I looked at the 2 games, because obviously that was the last game Everton played there with fans, wasn't it? A year to
wasn't the last one? Oh, sorry,
away fans and everything. It was a year to the day when we got beat 4-0, and there was a chasm that day. Yeah. We didn't even get anywhere near them that day. It was shocking. We had one opportunity at Calvert-Lewin right on half time, and he missed it. And other than that, that was it. Last nights weren't like that. Last night they were still a better side, no question about it, and they still had control. But I felt like any more than 2-0, I would have thought was really harsh. I think 2-0 was about right. I think it was a comfortable night for them. And I think that because it was an own goal and a penalty ultimately that cost us. You know, they didn't score any of the other opportunities. Yeah, I mean, the keepers made one that they were going on about from an Alonso free kick that was wide, and he pushed it wide anyway. But so that'll be in with the saves, but he made a really good one in the first half from Alonso.
No, he did.
Keane got a flick on, and he was going one way and got his hand the other. So we had a good night. It was like you say, an error of judgment. He thought he could get there, he didn't. That's the way it is. That it happens, doesn't it? And we've got I think the big thing for us in this, like I said before, is the recruitment thing. That's what I took out of it. I looked and thought the priority has got to be another midfield player who's mobile. Got to be another Decore type. Maybe someone who's better on the ball, who can get around the pitch. A fullback
and a winger. Can we stop saying a fullback or a winger?
Well, no, let's start. Well, I want number one for me is a winger.
Let's start saying pace. A fullback and a winger.
But down that right hand side, we need people who can get up and down. Holgate's good if you want a defensive type of performance at right back, no problem. But we see nothing down that right. That's got to be improved. Quick, speed. The Premier League is all about speed and mobility. That's what it's all about, and we lack both. Yeah. And it was evident last night. If we can do that, and they're the three areas, and then we piece it out with, whether King stays or we get another strike, I don't know, whatever. But then to me, with the 3 areas, and then obviously you add other bits back into the mix, everything becomes a lot better. But they were just too mobile and too quick for us. And until Everton add that, we'll probably have these moments. And we'll have these games where you're playing against a team who's got better players than you. So you're relying on, can we get in front at 0-0? Can we get a set piece or whatever? Where I think we all want to get to the stage where it's just, we're a good side and we'll just play. We can beat these regardless. It was one of them things. But it is what it is, and the manager's only got, we no Yerry Mina, no Seamus Coleman, no Abdoulaye Decore, no James Rodriguez. Immediately there's 4 players certainly 3 of them, and Seamus has been in and out, but 3 of them who've played a lot of games. Decore played every one, hadn't he, bar one. Tom Davies only just coming back from an injury. I thought he did well when he came on. Alan, like you said, it was his third game back, you know, just trying to get back into it. So, you know, there's reasons why we were, not saying if we'd have had all of those players, it'd have been much different and we'd have won. But we'd have had stronger options and we'd have had a better chance. I don't think we can do without 4 or 5 players. Whereas Chelsea, like you just said, made 5 changes.
Well, tactically though, you can't, like, you know, you mentioned Seamus Coleman there. You know, this job Seamus Coleman did at Anfield, it was a tactical job he did. It's not always about...
He could have gone and sat on Alonso.
Yeah, it's not always about being, you know, being a team that's going to have players that create loads. It's about players that stop the opposition.
Well, we played the same... I mean, Carlos said after the game, he played the same formation. Was what we did at Anfield. Only... Iwobi didn't do.
Well, that's the difference.
Iwobi didn't do the job.
Seamus Coleman as a defender would know to just cut the danger off there. Iwobi hasn't, because he's not that kind of player. He's switched off, and the lads gets in, and that's how quickly an opportunity will be created. And that's where you're looking at these players, and that's where the manager's been great, saying, you know, at Anfield, understanding how players and drilling into players and telling players don't switch off, and certainly, you know, what we did in that moment, and that's the difference, isn't it? These big games, we've been getting the goal first in the last couple of games, in the last 3 games, and we've gone on to win them. Last night we didn't, and that's where we start. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're just not good enough. Simple as that. We're just not good enough. We don't have good enough players. We don't have good enough options coming off the bench. We have Bernard coming off the bench. You know, last couple of games started. You know, as a player who, you know, that close to leaving in January.
The last 2 windows,
you know, he's not. We need real quality, and you know, I'm sure they'll try and get it, but that's the difference. I
think the thing to all of it though as well is, you know, seeing, you know, as you know, I don't really do social media anymore. It's terrific, but people sending me, what do you think of this opinion, and what do you think? People are very, like, angry and a little bit unrealistic, I think. You do have to look back and go, well, we've won 9 out of 14 away games, which is a hell of a lot for us. We've made big strides this season. We're in the fight. We're still in. We've got a game in hand on Chelsea. If we win the game in hand, we're a point behind them again. Going for the Champions League play. We're still in there. It doesn't matter whether people think we'll get it, whether people think we're good enough to get it. Mathematically, and you know, we are still well in the hunt for Champions League football, and that's what we've got to look for, and that's what we've got to keep doing it. And if we keep aiming for that, then and we fall short, well, at least we're in the Europa League, which is European football, which was the target. But we've made big strides this season. We were 12th last season, and we were abysmal. You know, the last lockdown after that, you know, the last half a dozen games of last season, we were terrible, and people were, you know, the whole 11 players, and this player needs to go and he needs to go and all that. And there we are in March the next season, 11 games to go, still in the hunt for Champions League. So we have made big strides. The manager's squeezed a lot, and the coaching staff have squeezed a lot out of the players we've got, and he tactically has won us points when, you know, probably we didn't deserve. I mean, I think isn't that the first defeat at one of the big 6 we've had away from home? 1 at Liverpool, 1 at Tottenham.
2 at United.
3 at United. Leicester, we won't put Leicester in there, but Leicester are certainly up there. 1 at Leicester, you know. Wolves are a good side, 1 there. 1 at Leeds, who are different. You know, so we've had a lot of wins at tough places this season. So, you know, the home games will ultimately decide what we do, and we have just.
And we've already beaten Chelsea this season.
And we beat Chelsea at home, we beat Arsenal at home. So, you know, we've got something off all of the sides in every, you know, in the games. United, we got a point away, we lost at home. So against all the teams, we took something out of the games, and I think that's something to look at. Now, if we can get the home form going and beat the teams we should, then you'd like to think we'll finish in Europe, and I think that's what the manager will look at. And we have to just. There is a gulf still. We can't make it up.
I just think too many people put, certainly on last night, this idea that it was like the make or break, or because they were 4th and we were 5th, like there wasn't this chasm between us. And yet everything tells you there's a chasm between the 2 teams. And yet on the pitch there wasn't necessarily. The chasm was smaller on the pitch than what it looks like, because like you just said, the manager's getting everything out of them, and it can be, I've seen some horrendous, someone actually told me they'd rather lose games playing attractive football than win games being negative, which is just mental because football's just about winning games and nothing else, right? But that is the way we play away. We stay tight, we stay compact, and then we try and nick it. And it didn't work last night because we were playing someone who got the first goal and then got a penalty.
I'm saying, if Luca Dean's free kick went in, for argument's sake, I'm sure there would have been a different game. Now, they still might have won because they've got a lot of ability, but it would have been a totally different game. It'd have been a goal up after 25, 26 minutes. And we've done that in other games.
Yeah.
What that does is it energises you. Where when you go behind and your legs are feeling it, their game in a week, it's hard, and they're good players, then they can pop it off.
It's just that
they deserve to win.
No, you've got
to turn around and go at the end of the day.
And they'll get Champions League football. And
You'd expect
I've no doubts about it. No doubts about it at all. Whether they catch Leicester and get third place,
they'll finish above Leicester.
So we'll wait and see. But let's just have a look at the stats. I mean, the shots on target says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that just sums the game.
19 shots, 7 to Everton, 9 on target for them, 1 for us, which was goal.
Disappointing thing is we're in our possession comfort zone as well there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's
nearly the sweet spot, that.
That is normally the sweet spot.
That's nearly
but the passes, 713 to 369, I mean.
That's what it is.
They're a good side.
No, I know.
Some people have had written them off as like not very good, but they're still a good side. Tuchel's come in and he broke the record last night for the first manager ever to have 5 clean sheets in the home games, and they're unbeaten in 11 under him. He's tightened them up, and they've got the quality in the final third. And Kai Havertz was brilliant last night. His movements and dropping off into space and his touch and his awareness, absolutely brilliant. And they've got good players, and we're aiming to try and get up to that kind of standard. And when you do, and you put it all together, then that's when you
all we can hope is that we get the players to do that, because this set of players are not going to do that.
No.
So I think that's what everyone has to appreciate. This set of players aren't going to do that.
I think you've said it a couple of times. Don't agree with everything you say, obviously, but you've said it a couple of times this season. It's right. The solutions aren't within the 4 walls of Goodison. They're not. They're not. So we've only got what we've got, and what we've got is players, and most of them have done what the manager's asked this season. Even the likes of Iwobi, who isn't playing well at the moment, has had moments in this season where he's done what the manager's asked. So that's all you can ask for, and then you get to the summer, you hopefully get enough wins, 6 wins in the next 11 games, we're in Europe. Then you get to the summer and you bring in what we did last year. You go, we need that, we need that, we need that. And the quality comes in, and the quality takes your team up. And then you hope that a couple of your kids coming through, the likes of Onyango and people like that, continue to develop and grow, and you move forward. And that's all we can do. We've got a manager who has been there, done it, and everybody probably would say that he's a top manager, and therefore when you've got a top manager and you haven't had one for years, you do have to go, well, let's see what he does, because otherwise what do we do? I've seen people that I'd rather get rid of him now and get someone attractive in. Who's attractive?
Manager?
Yeah, people last night, I've seen enough. That's why I come off and just went, I'm done. He's not good enough, he's this, he's negative, worst football I've witnessed in 10 years, this, that and the other. But who would you get in? If you got rid of Carlo Ancelotti, who comes in and makes Everton amazing, playing great football? Who?
Not even.
No, I know. But that's what I'm saying. So you've got to go. He's a world-class manager who's won everything. So let's just give him the time and just go, right, we haven't got good enough players to beat the likes of Chelsea at the bridge. So let's keep hoping that next year we get better, and we might go there and we might have them then. Because the team might be playing well, we might have that extra bit of sprinkling, and we go and win the game. Last night they were too good for us, and we've got to just you're not going to win every game, and some games you've got to just accept that the other team's too good for you.
Listen,
that's it.
When you talk about players week in and week out, and one week you say, oh, they were all right today, and then another week you go, they were dreadful today, and the next week you're like, they were all right this week, and then the next week you're like, they were terrible this week. That's it. That's what we are. And unfortunately, until we get players that are brilliant every single week, so you go, brilliant this week, brilliant this week.
Because a lot of those clubs who are in the Champions League and have players who are brilliant every week.
Every week. Brilliant every week. No, seeing brilliant every week.
But even City got beat at home at the weekend. Anyone can lose. And some,
I just think people's expectations are mental though, because they don't.
I think we're all desperate for something to to cling on to. Because we can see it and we can touch it. Everyone's like that, and I think. Listen, I don't think lockdown helps anyone. I think everyone's things. Aggression is up. The devastation is up. Everything is like, aren't we? And that melted all together means that everything's like a.
But when you go, yeah, we had a midfield four of Iwobi,
Gomez,
Sigurdsson, and Allen, who's obviously good.
Allen was good.
And then you go, okay, yeah, because there's three players.
And they had Jorginho, Kovacic, Havertz.
We'll put it this way: there's three players in that four midfield that most people would go, I wouldn't have them in my first 11 if I had.
Yeah, if you could pick, yeah,
exactly.
Most of them will be
there's three players out of 10 outfield players.
I said that last week. 25% of your midfield
exactly.
Start, so that's the challenge, isn't it? That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to improve that. And for me, a bigger test and the biggest indication of where we are will be Saturday. If we've got Burnley, they'll come make it difficult. We beat Burnley, it's like that. We're back on track now. Let's go. That is a big game now. Got a few days rest, then back on it Saturday. Beat Burnley at the weekend. 49 points. Let's go again. Or 48 points, whatever we've got.
49, won't it?
46 we're on that, yeah. So 49 points, and we go from there, and that's all you can do. And then we've got no league game. Then I don't think for 3 weeks have we. So got City, which is a huge game, obviously in the cup. But yeah, just let's get Burnley's where all the attention.
No, that's it. That's all it's all about now. There you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Are you a bit more reasonable when it comes to appreciating the differences between the Chelsea squad and the Everton squad, or are you just like, we're rubbish, burn it all down, start again from the ashes, create something new? Let us know. Listen, that sounds mad, but I seen those people as well last night in my comments. Very similar. You're accepting mediocrity. I'm not accepting it, am I? I'm just sitting here talking about losing a game of football to Chelsea. It's just life. It's just reality.
We're going to lose games. Yeah. And you know what? We'll probably lose another game this season.
Probably expect.
Maybe 2 or 3. So you've got to just go, right, it is what it is. If we had a 20-man squad and they were all brilliant and we were playing that kind of football and losing games, then you'd have real cause to go, the manager's not right, or this player doesn't care, or blah, blah, blah. But we haven't. We've got, like you've just said, most of us, people watching, if you had the opportunity to pick a 4-man Everton midfield, say the whole squad was fit, 100% fit, would that really be your 4-man midfield?
But even if they were all fit, you still wouldn't have too much choice. That's the point, isn't it?
Would that be the one you'd pick?
No, of course
not. Because if everyone was fit, I'd rather Gbamin played, who we haven't seen. Well, exactly.
Who?
Tarek Gbamin played, and some of them that played last night, even in the condition he's in now.
There you go.
But your midfield for me at the moment, with everybody fit, would be Davis, Doucouré and Allen. Yeah. They would be me 3. Yeah. End of story. Wouldn't be the ones that started last night. So
there you go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We move on to Burnley. Don't forget, give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you want more great videos, join us over on Patreon, where this video is currently live, and we will be doing more on the game and comments from our patrons after you've gone. So if you want to join us, there's a link in the description, and there's also a link on the screen right now. Thanks for watching. See you later.